Hello students, hope everyone is doing good, learning physics, practicing physics and reading physics and watching the videos of physics, right? Well, I'm back with another video that is on chapter 1, electric charges and fields. So in this chapter further I'm dealing with the topic principle of superposition, right? So let's start the video. So welcome back on my channel Learning Made Simple. So I am your physics lecturer Srimati Sujata. So let's start the video. So what we are studying? Principle of. So what this principle of superposition says? So this is applicable if there are more than two number of charges. If there are multiple number of charges or n number of charges, then this principle can be used. Not only to find the force, even we can use it to find the fields. Further, in further upcoming videos, we'll study electric field. Even to find the total electric field, there we are going to apply this principle of superposition. Even in the magnetic field also, we are going to use this principle of superposition. Hence, it is very important to know this principle of superposition. Okay. So, what this says is, here, if there are n number of charges, then the total force on a given charge, how it is? It is the vector sum of the individual forces exerted on the given charge by all other remaining charges. Means, if suppose there are charges like this scattered here and there in the space, like here we have one such charge, okay, and here we have, okay, in this way the charges are scattered. So I'll take only 4 charges, enough. Here one I'll draw. Okay, so I'll name them as, I'll name this as Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, so on up till Qn. Okay, it's enough if you take only 3, because to derive it again one more expression increase agate. So it's very, let us make it very simple, not complicated. Okay, so now we'll find the position of these charges. We'll find the distance. So what is the distance between Q1 and Q2? Here you see the distance should be marked in a dotted line. Okay, I'll mark the distance between Q2 and Q1 in a dotted line. So let us assume the distance as R12, distance between Q1 and Q2. Okay, I hope you're understanding the subscriptions too. Now, between Q3 and Q1, R13, here we have to take dotted line. I took here solid line. Okay, sorry, just cooperate with that. Now distance between Q4 and Q1, let us take it as R14. This I'll take it as R1, yeah. Okay. Now, so since these all charges are similar charges, Q2 is exerting force on Q1, Q3 is exerting force on Q1, Q4 is exerting force on Q1, Qn is exerting force on Q1. So that means this is the given charge here. Okay. On this given charge, remaining all other charges are exerting force. Okay, so that individual forces, what we have to do, we have to add it vectorially. Okay, in the vector sum. Okay, we have to write the vector sum of the force. Very simple. So now we'll draw the direction of force, in which direction the force is. Just see here, Q2 is exerting force on Q1, in which direction? Q2 to Q1, right? Q2 to Q1, right? So I'll extend that. So this is what force, on whom it is acting, on first charge, by whom, second charge, q2 charge, right? Similarly, q3 is exerting force on q1. In which direction? This is the direction, so I can name it as f vector f1 3 on 1 due to 3. Okay, so this naming and all we have seen in Coulomb's law. So same way, no changes. Vector f1 4, right? q2 is exerting force on n. In which direction? In this direction. So I'll name it as vector f1 n, right? So hope you're understanding the direction of force now. Okay, see if the video is blur or something like that, please comment below so that I can come to know. Now, since force is a vector quantity, so this distance also we have to write it in vector, but we are not writing it in vector. What we are doing here, instead of that, we are using unit vectors to mention the direction of forces, right? So here, either you can write it as r12 vector directly, or you can write it as r12 distance between them or the magnitude of it. And how you are giving the direction here? I'll take direction here. See direction of force, how it is from q2 to q1. So can I write as r cap 1 2, not 1 2, sorry, 2 to 1. How it is moving? 2 to 1. Similarly, direction of force from where it is moving. Look at the direction what I am showing here, q3 to q1, right? So from where it is moving? 3 to 1. So what is the unit vector here? R cap 3 to 1. Understanding? Now look at the q4. This is the direction, right? So from where it is moving on? 4 to 1. So r cap 4 to 1. Similarly, q1 to q1, this is the direction. See, this is the direction. Hope you are understanding. So how we are giving unit vector? R cap n to 1. Clear? Clear with the diagram? Okay. Now we'll move ahead. So now by applying the principle of superposition, we'll find the multiple force between the multiple charge. So first what you have to do, you have to find vector F12 directly by applying Coulomb's law. What the Coulomb's law states? Equation what we have. This is in vacuum or air or free space you can consider. So 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to q1 q2 divided by, what is the distance between q1 and q2 here? r12 square, and direction r cap 2 to 1. Clear? Similarly, f12 over, next what you have to calculate? Vector f13. Simple it is. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. F13 is due to whom? Q1 and Q3 again. Q1 and Q3. So here Q1 into Q3 divided by, what is the distance? R13 square, unit vector R cap 3 to 1, it is 3 1. Similarly, Next equation, vector F14, where it is here. This is between whom? Between Q1 and Q4. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q4 by, what is the distance? R14 square, unit vector r cap for 1. So on nth charge, vector F1n. So it is between whom? Q1 and Qn. This is the force, right? This is the distance. So what will be the expression? 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Qn divided by distance R1n square into unit vector m to n to 1. Okay. So these are the individual forces acting on whom? Acting on the common charge Q1 or given charge Q1. So now what we have to do according to the principle of superposition, what it says, nothing but I'll write it in a mathematical equation, that net force F net is equals to what? F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus so on up till Fn. So these are the individual forces acting on that charge, right? So here F1 is, how we are taken here F1, what is the notation? 1 to 2. So can I write here 1 to, here 1 to 3, right? So this, this F1 is nothing but here what? Vector F1 to. Next F2 here is related to this plus vector 1 to 3. F3 means this would be the our third force plus vector F14, so on. Fnth force means this is the fourth force, last force, 1 force. So this is the net force acting on the charge Q. So this is our principle of superposition. This is our principle of superposition. What it says? The vector sum of or total force acting on an given charge is equal to sum of individual forces. Here individual force in the expression we will write as F1, F2, F3 and so on up till Fn. Okay. According to this diagram, F1 becomes what here? F12, vector F12. F2 becomes vector F13. And F3 becomes vector F14 and Fn becomes vector F1n. Okay. So this is how you are calculating total force acting on a individual charge. Okay. So now what we will do? In individual force we will substitute these equations. Okay. These equations we will substitute in this and we will calculate the final expression. So this was our previous equation. So now we'll substitute this individual force, right? So individual force was 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R12 square into, what would be the unit vector here? Reverse, 2 to 1 cap plus F13 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q3, just by seeing here you can write R13 square into R31 cap plus fourth force is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 Q4 by R14 square into R41, here 14 square, 41 cap plus so on dash 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 plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Qn divided by R1n square into N1 cap. Okay. So this is the equation what you get after substituting all the individual forces, expression of individual forces. Okay. Now, what is the common thing? We will write it out and the remaining we'll put up in the bracket. So common thing is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught and Q1. See here. Right? So I'll write here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 outside. Inside the bracket Q2 by R12 square R21 cap. Just see here. Plus this we have taken out. What is left out here? Q3 by R13 square into R31 cap plus this is out. What is left out here? Q4 by R14 square into R cap 41 plus dash plus Q1 this out. What is left here? Qn by R1n square into R cap n1. Close the bracket. Okay. So this is the final equation what we have. Here I can take this Q1 here. Okay. Vector is equals to Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So I can just write it in a short way by using the sigma or summation what we say. So see here, summation I is running inside this bracket. You see I is running from where? Starting from where? 2, 3, 4 and so on up till n here. 2, 3, 4, n here. Correct? So Q, what shall I write here? Q I is running from where? 2 to n. 2 to n. This I'll take as Q. So that means starting substitution will be 2. Q2 divided by. See here. R1, 1 is common here. So this common 1 you will write as it is. And in place of this second term, 2, 3 it is. So starting from 2, here also 2. So here what you will write? I. This is I. It is spreading out there. Okay, it is I here. This is I. Into, look at this unit vector. Okay. Starting here is starting from 2. Here we have taken 2. So that means this I will write here. Okay. And what is common next term is 1 common here. So here you will write 1. So this is the final expression for finding what? Force between multiple charges. Okay. So what is it is? So once again here Q1 4 pi epsilon, this is a common thing, we have taken it and we are putting summation for this quantity. So summation I is running from where? See, starting number is 2. 2. Here also starting 2. So that's why you will take 2. Okay. So I is your changing number which will be changing. So Qi means see, substitute now. Qi Q2 by 1 to R cap 2 1 cap plus next term 3, next term 4 up till where? N. Okay. So I hope you understand this very simple way. So we'll see the statement and all. So statement. So what the statement says? Statement of principle of superposition. Shall I write here? Principle of superposition. Okay, very simple it is. So principle of superposition states that when a number of, this is short form of writing number of charges are interacting So this is the statement: when a number of charges are interacting, the total force on a given charge is the vector sum of the individual forces exerted on a given charge by all other remaining charges. So we can write it in a mathematical expression. So its expression is vector F net is equals to vector F1 plus vector F2 plus vector F3, so on up till vector Fn. So what are F1, F2, F3? They are the individual forces, where vector F1, F2, F3, so on up till Fn are individual forces acting on a given charge. What is F net? It's a total force, or you can say vector sum of all other forces. Okay, so this is the expression what I made use in finding the total charge when there are multiple number of charges present. Okay, so this is that, right? So this is the derivation for 3 marks. So 3 marks derivations. The question will be asked, find the total force between the multiple charges by using principle of superposition. So what would be the subheading? Force between multiple charges, right? So here we will consider 4 or more than that charges, and we will show the direction of forces, unit vector and the distance between them, and we'll find F12, F13, F14 and so on. We'll substitute in this equation, where this equation is by this principle. Okay, this we have used here and substituted, and then substitution, very simple calculation it is, and finally you are writing this equation. So this is the force between multiple charges. And okay, now further we'll solve some problems on Coulomb's law, which is very important for the examination point of view. So problems on Coulomb's law. Say, according to the blueprint of PUE board, what happens is, if from chapter 1 if they are asking 5 marks derivation, then they won't ask problem. Okay, then there might be the chances of asking the problem from chapter 2. Yet I have not started it. Suppose they ask 5 marks problem from this, then they won't ask derivation. This is the thing what happens. Okay, so first 2 chapters are very important for solving the problems. Okay, first chapter includes problems as well as 5 marks derivation, so it is must and should that we should be perfect in problems as well as derivation. So no skipping, nothing idea of skipping or nothing like that. So compulsory we have to study 5 marks derivation from this chapter and 5 marks problems, and the problems will be very dead easy. Okay, see, I'm solving the problems only for board examinations. I'm not solving the problems for CET or NEET or IIT. Okay, so make sure that these problems are only for board examinations. They will be very simple. Now, how to solve the problems? These are the big problem for us, right? Usually the physics students, they face problem in solving the problems, right? So what we have to do is, first our concepts on topics must be very much clear, right? And how to solve the problems? First, always you have to solve the problems which are very simple direct questions. Okay, right? Then after reading the question, what we have to do? We have to mention the given things, right? And see for unknown thing which we have to calculate. See for unknown thing, and then you concentrate on the concept. Which concept can I use in this question? Okay, by using that concept, if your concept is clear, then directly you can apply that concept and you can solve. If not, then go study that concept, and then you apply the formula, or you can solve the problem. Okay, so this is how we have to solve the problems. Then you have to touch for problems which are bit difficult than the earlier one. Okay, and then go for next complex thing, again come back to solve the simple one. Okay, so this practice should be done daily. If one concept you're doing, like for example you're studying principle of superposition, then solve many problems on principle of superposition then and there. Okay, on that day only. Don't take a long time. Okay, don't stop it. We'll see the problems at the end or something like that. No, when you will read the concept, when you will hear the videos on such concepts, try to solve the problems that day itself. Okay, and whenever you're taking revision, I said to you, daily revision should be done, or weekly once you have to do the revision. During revision time also, if you're reading any of the topic like Coulomb's law, you have read, you have practiced, then you have to solve Coulomb's law problems that day itself. Then only the problems become very easy for us. Otherwise they will be very headache for us. So I hope you will take these points, these tips of solving the problems very seriously, and everyone will become punter in solving the problems. I hope so. Okay, we'll start with the problem. So I'll bring the question. So here is our first question. So always try to read the question very carefully, understand, and what concept we should apply, think over it. We have to think. So concept application is very important over here. If you have not read those concepts, read it, then you solve the problems. Otherwise the problems becomes very headache. So see here, the question is like this. What is the force between the two small charged spheres having charges 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb and 30 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb placed 30 centimeter apart in air? See, I'll just tell you what is the concept behind this. Substitution, remaining answer, everything you have to do it. Okay, I'll not sit here with the calculator and solve everything over here. Since it is a video class, the video become very lengthy, and definitely you will feel very bored, and you will skip the video. So that's why I thought just I'll tell you the given things and the concept behind it. You have to substitute and you have to solve everything. Okay, let us start. So what is given? Always try to picturize the problem. Okay, picturize it, draw the picture, imagine it. Okay, so what you have to find? First question is said, what is the force? Means you have got it, you have to find the force. Between whom? Between two small charged spheres. So they have given that there are two small charged spheres. So two small charged sphere, okay, having charges, okay, this and this, placed 30 centimeter apart. That means two charges are kept like this. Okay, and the distance between them they have given here 30 centimeter apart they are, right? So this is first charge. How many charge? It is 2 into 10 raised to minus 7, and the second one is 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb. Okay, and where it is placed? In the air medium. So here medium is air. So that means whether we have take here epsilon or epsilon naught. So here we have to take epsilon naught. Okay, so when you take epsilon naught, directly you will get k value. What is that k value directly? 9 into 10 raised to 9, right? So now, so this is the question. So we have picturized the question now. What are given things? We will let us know that. So put here given. Let us assume Q1 as 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb. Q2 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb. And distance we are taking here R. So what is distance R here? 30 centimeter. And see here. Another step what you have to do, you have to check whether all are in SI unit or not. So this is in SI unit, charge is in SI unit, whereas distance is not in SI unit. So must and should you have to convert it into SI unit. So centimeter, centi means you will multiply it with 10 raised to minus 2, and what is remaining there? M. Right? Very simple. Now, what they are asking you to find? The force between these two. Now you tell me, I'll ask you some extra here. What kind of charges these are? Yes, definitely these two are positively charged. Yes or no? No charge is given that indicates plus charge. Don't look for this and think they are negatively charged. Yeah, some students are there. They will use their extra mind and they'll think like this. So 10 raised to minus 7 is the order of this charge. Okay. Whether they are given any charge over here? No, nothing they have given. That indicates these two charges are positively charged. I'll write it here for your reference. So given charges, how they are? Positively charged. Correct. Now, what is the concept used here? Very simple problem I have taken here. Concept is used here to find Coulomb's law. So Coulomb's law you are applying because it says two charged spheres are there separated by certain distance and they are placed in air medium. And the formula what you are using here for air medium. So here whether you will write epsilon or epsilon naught. Here you will write epsilon naught. Why? Because it is in air medium. Okay. Then what are the charges you are taken here? Q1, Q2, distance is R square. Simple. Then, so if it is epsilon naught, the value of this K value, what it becomes? 9 into 10 raised to 9. Simple. Into, dot means into here. What is Q1? 10 raised to 2 into 10 raised to minus 7 into 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 divided by, okay, 30 into 10 raised to minus 2 the whole square. See, some student get very difficulty in squaring this. If you are getting difficulty in squaring this, very simple, or what you can do, 30 divided by 100. Just divide by 100. Don't utilize your extra mind. Okay. 0.3 meter. Directly you can take here 0.3 meter. Clear? So is it square? Yes, a square. Some students they miss taking a square harbody. They feel, oh, such a easy problem they have given, so they'll skip this. So being happy is very dangerous. Okay, so always sit calm and read the problem calmly. You solve the problem. Okay, so I hope remaining you can do with your calculator, right? Clear? Then what is the unit of force here? Newton. So what is the nature of force here? Look. What is the nature of force here? Both the charges are positively charged, means same kind of charges are present. Then what will be the force? This will push this side and this will push this side. So how the charges are? Repelling. So what is the nature of force here? Nature of force here is here repulsive. They have not asked in the question. In some questions you will get comment the nature of force. So end question they'll give here. Here they'll give comment the nature of force. Then what you have to comment that the force Coulomb force here it is repulsive. Why? Because both are same kind of charges. Okay. What is the unit of force here? Newton. I hope you will get the answer for this clearly. Clear? Is it clear? So here I have taken very simple problem. I have taken direct problem. I have taken to show you how to apply the Coulomb's law. Okay. I hope you understood this session. If any doubt or anything, you can call me out. I want to say to my students, okay, KLS students to whom I teach in the college. So for those students, only for those students, okay, or they can comment. Okay, and if not understand